Hello and welcome back to our Chronological Bible in Your Reading Plan. Today is day 229. We're reading Jeremiah 35, 36, and 37. Excuse my voice, it's a little raspy today. Jeremiah 35. The word which came to Yirmiyahu from Yahuwah in the days of Jehoiakim, son of Yoshayahu, sovereign of Yehudah, saying, Go to the house of the Rechabites, and you shall speak to them, and bring them into the house of Yahuwah, into one of the rooms, and give them wine to drink. And I took Yaazaniah, the son of Yirmiyahu, the son of Habatzaniah, and his brothers and all his sons, and all the house of the Rechabites, and brought them into the house of Yahuwah, into the room of the sons of Hanan, son of Yigdaliyahu, a man of Elohim, which was by the chamber of the heads, above the room of Maasayahu, son of Shallum, the keeper of the door. Excuse me. And I put before the sons of the house of the Rechabites bowls filled with wine and cups, and I said to them, Drink wine. But they said, We do not drink wine, because Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, You shall not drink wine, neither you nor your sons, forever. And do not build a house, neither sow seed, nor plant a vineyard, nor have any of these, but dwell in tents all your days, so that you live many days on the face of the land where you are sojourners. So we obeyed the voice of Jonadab, son of Rechab, our father, in all that he commanded us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, our sons, and our daughters, nor to build ourselves houses to dwell in, and we have no vineyard, field, or seed. But we dwell in tents, and have obeyed and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. It came to be, when Nebuchadrezzar, sovereign of Babel, came up into the land, that we said, Come, let us go to Jerusalem for fear of the army of the Kasdites, and for fear of the army of the Arameans. So we dwell at Jerusalem. And the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu, saying, Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yisrael, Go, and ye shall say to the men of Yehudah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Have you not received instruction to obey my words, declares Yahuwah? The words of Jonadab, son of Rechab, which he commanded his sons not to drink wine, are established, and they have not drunk unto this day, for they have obeyed their father's command. And as for me, I have spoken to you, rising early and speaking, but you have not obeyed me. And I sent to you all my servants, the Nebi'im, which means the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, Turn each one from his evil way, and make good your deeds, and do not go after other mighty ones to serve them, and you shall dwell in the land which I have given you and your fathers. But you have not inclined your ear, nor obeyed me. The sons of Jonadab, son of Rechab, have indeed carried out the command of their father which he commanded them, but this people has not obeyed me. Therefore thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, Elohim of Yisrael, See, I am bringing on Yehudah and on all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil I have pronounced against them, because I have spoken to them, but they did not listen, and I have called to them, but they did not answer. And Yirmiyahu said to the house of the Rechabites, Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yisrael, Because you have obeyed the command of Jonadab your father, and guarded all his commands, and done according to all that he commanded you, therefore thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yisrael, Of Jonadab, son of Rechab, there shall never cease to be a man to stand before me. Chapter 36. And it came to be in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, son of Yoshayahu, sovereign of Yehudah, that this word came to Yirmiyahu from Yahuwah, saying, Take a scroll and write on it all the words that I have spoken to you against Israel, and against Yehudah, and against all the nations from the day I spoke to you, from the days of Yoshayahu even to this day. It could be that the house of Yehudah hears of all the evil which I plan to bring upon them, so that each one turns back from his evil way, and I shall pardon their wickedness and their sin. And Yirmiyahu called Baruch son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote on a scroll from the mouth of Yirmiyahu all the words of Yahuwah which he had spoken to him. And Yirmiyahu commanded Baruch, saying, I am shut up, I am unable to enter the house of Yahuwah. But you shall enter, and shall read from the scroll which you have written from my mouth the words of Yahuwah, in the hearing of the people in the house of Yahweh on the day of fasting. And also read them in the hearing of all Yehudah who come from their cities. It could be that they present their supplication before Yahweh, and they turn back, each one from his evil way. For great is the displeasure and the wrath that Yahweh has spoken against this people. And Baruch, son of Neriah, did according to all that Yirmiyahu the Nabi, again the prophet, commanded him, reading from the book the words of Yahweh in the house of Yahweh. And it came to be, in the 5th year of Jehoiakim, son of Yoshayahu, sovereign of Yehudah, in the 9th month, that they called a fast before Yahweh to all the people in Jerusalem, and to all the people who came from the cities of Yehudah to Jerusalem. And Baruch read from the book the words of Yirmiyahu in the house of Yahweh, in the room of Gemariyahu, son of Shaphan, the scribe, in the upper courtyard at the entry of the new gate of the house of Yahweh, in the hearing of all the people. And Mikayahu, son of Gemariyahu, son of Shaphan, heard all the words of Yahweh from the book. And then he went down to the sovereign's house, into the scribe's room, and there all the heads were sitting, Elishama the scribe, and Delayahu, son of Shemayahu, and Elnathan, son of Akbor, and Gemariyahu, son of Shaphan, and Zidkiyahu, son of Hananyahu, and all the heads. And Mikayahu told them all the words which he heard when Baruch read the book in the hearing of the people. Then all the heads sent Yehudi, son of Nethanyahu, son of Shelemyahu, son of Cushi, to Baruch, saying, Take in your hand the scroll from which you have read in the hearing of the people, and come. So Baruch, son of Neriyahu, took the scroll in his hand and came to them. And they said to him, Sit down, please, and read it in our hearing. Then Baruch read it in their hearing. And it came to be, when they had heard all the words, that they looked at each other in fear, and said to Baruch, We are certainly going to report all these words to the sovereign. And they asked Baruch, saying, Please explain to us, how did you write all these words from his mouth? And Baruch answered them, From his mouth he spoke all these words to me, and I wrote them with ink in the book. Then the heads said to Baruch, Go, hide, you and Yirmiyahu, and let no one know where you are. And they went to the sovereign into the court. But they put the scroll in the room of Elishama the scribe, and told all the words in the hearing of the sovereign. The sovereign therefore sent Yehudi to bring the scroll, and he took it from the mouth of Elishama the scribe. And Yehudi read it in the hearing of the sovereign, and in the hearing of all the heads standing beside the sovereign. And the sovereign was sitting in the winter house in the 9th month, with a fire burning on the hearth before him. Hearth. I don't really remember how to pronounce that. And it came to be, when Yehudi had read 3 or 4 columns, that the sovereign cut it with the scribe's knife, and threw it into the fire that was on the hearth, until the entire scroll was burned in the fire that was on the hearth. Yet the sovereign and all his servants who heard all these words were not afraid, nor did they tear their garments. Moreover, Elnathan and Delayahu and Gemariyahu pleaded with the sovereign not to burn the scroll, but he did not listen to them. And the sovereign commanded Jeremiel, son of the sovereign, and Sarayahu, son of Azriel, and Shelemyahu, son of Abdiel, to seize Baruch the scribe and Yirmiyahu the Nabi, but Yahuwah had hid them. And after the sovereign had burned the scroll with the words which Baruch had written from the mouth of Yirmiyahu, the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu, saying, Take another scroll, and write on it all the former words that were in the first scroll, which Jehoiakim, the sovereign of Yehudah, has burned. And say to Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehudah, Thus said Yahuwah, You have burned this scroll, saying, Why have you written in it that the sovereign of Babel is certainly coming to destroy this land, and cause man and beast to cease from here? Therefore thus said Yahuwah concerning Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehudah, He shall have no one to sit on the throne of David, and his dead body is to be thrown out to the heat of the day and the frost of the night. And I shall punish him and his seed and his servants for their wickedness, and I shall bring on them, and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and on the men of Yehudah, all the evil I have spoken against them. But they did not listen. So Yirmiyahu took another scroll and gave it to Baruch the scribe, son of Neriyahu, who wrote on it from the mouth of Yirmiyahu all the words of the book which Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehudah, had burned in the fire. and many similar words were added to them. Chapter 37. And sovereign Zidkiyahu, son of Yoshayahu, reigned instead of Konyahu, son of Jehoiakim, whom Nebuchadrezzar, sovereign of Babel, appointed to reign in the land of Yehudah. But neither he nor his servants nor the people of the land had listened to the words of Yahuwah which he spoke by the Nabi Yirmiyahu. And Zidkiyahu the sovereign sent Yehukal, son of Shelemiah, and the Kohen, which is the priest, Zephaniah, son of Maaseiah, to the Nabi Yirmiyahu, saying, Please pray to Yahuwah our Elohim for us. Now Yirmiyahu was still coming and going among the people, for they had not yet put him in prison. Meanwhile, Pharaoh's army had departed from Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, and when the Kasdites, whom were besieging Jerusalem, heard news of them, they withdrew from Jerusalem. And the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu the Nabi, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, Say this to the sovereign of Yehudah, who sent you to me to inquire of me. See, Pharaoh's army, which has come up to help you, shall turn back to Mitzrayim, to their own land. And the Kasdites shall return and fight against this city, and take it and burn it with fire. Thus said Yahuwah, Do not deceive yourselves, saying, The Kasdites shall go away from us, for they do not go. For though you had smitten the entire army of the Kasdites who were fighting against you, and there remained only wounded men among them, they would get up, each man in his tent, and burn the city with fire. And it came to be, when the army of the Kasdites left the siege of Jerusalem for fear of Pharaoh's army, that Yirmiyahu went out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin, to receive his portion there in the midst of the people. And it came to be, as he was in the gate of Benjamin, a master of the guard was there, whose name was Uriah, son of Shelemiah, son of Hananiah. And he seized Yirmiyahu the Nabi, saying, You are deserting to the Kasdites. But Yirmiyahu said, It is a lie. I am not deserting to the Kasdites. But he did not listen to him. And Uriah seized Yirmiyahu and brought him to the heads. And the heads were wroth with Yirmiyahu, and smote him, and put him in prison in the house of Jehonathan the scribe, for they had made that for a prison. When Yirmiyahu had entered into the dungeon and into the cells, then Yirmiyahu remained there many days. And Zidkiyahu the sovereign sent and took him out. And the sovereign asked him secretly in his house, and said, Is there any word from Yahuwah? And Yirmiyahu said, There is. And he said, You are given into the hand of the sovereign of Babel. And Yirmiyahu said to Zidkiyahu the sovereign, What have I sinned against you, and against your servants, and against this people, that you have put me into prison? Where are your Nebaim who prophesied to you, saying, The sovereign of Babel is not coming against you, or against this land? But now please hear, O my master the sovereign. Please let my petition be accepted before you, and do not make me return to the house of Jehonathan the scribe, lest I die there. Zidkiyahu the sovereign then gave orders for Yirmiyahu to be placed in the court of the guard, and that they should give him daily a piece of bread from the baker's street, until all the bread in the city was gone. So Yirmiyahu remained in the court of the guard. And that concludes our reading for today. Again, excuse me, I apologize for my raspy voice. And also, I don't know if you did notice, I've been bugging with my eye the whole episode. My contact's been messing with me. But anyway, that concludes our reading today. Thank you for joining, and I hope you're reading along. And most importantly, reading for yourself. But peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.